They call Brazilian Rosewood the Holy Grail because it has an absolutely beautiful double note ring to it that lasts a long time. And my son's going to bring a piece of wood up here. I'll show you. You can hear it right here. It is remarkable. This instrument here has a Brazilian rosewood neck. You know, the stuff just rings and rings and rings. Look, Coca-Cola is a wood that's very, very close in genus to Brazilian rosewood. If you take a piece of Coca-Cola and a piece of Brazilian rosewood next to each other, one goes ding and the other one goes duh. Now, which one's going to make a better instrument? You know, it's kind of obvious, right? I mean, when I started making instruments, I could have trusted the old guys, or I could have said, I'll check every kind of wood and I'll see how much it rings and how well it makes instruments. Well, it would have been 10 years of research. So I decided to trust the old guys, and they were using spruce, Brazilian rosewood, maple, ebony, mahogany, little bits of koa once in a while, some cedar, some Spanish cedar. But in general, they were using, the violin makers were using spruce and ebony and maple. And the guitar makers were using mahogany and Brazilian rosewood and maple. And here's a piece of it.
6 foot ones with the bottom.
I mean, this is a big, solid piece of wood. It shouldn't be ringing like this. They used to make concert murmurs out of this stuff. It's just a remarkable wood. It sounds wonderful. And the fact that you can get 2 notes depending on which direction the sound is going through, it's wonderful. This comes from a stack we affectionately call pipewood. Sounds like metal pipes. Well, there's some of these pieces that are 13 feet long. It sounds like a big steel tube. You know, we've come out with a new guitar called a Modern Eagle, where this is a prototype of a Modern Eagle, that the Brazilian rosewood comes stock on it. You know, most of the
Brazilian rosewood.
it has a price. I don't want to talk about price. I don't want to talk about money on this DVD.
Okay.
Look.
Pause for editing. Okay.
Look. A lot of wood was cut 30 years ago. There's been a lot of wood that's been sitting in people's barns. There's some stumps. You know, there's a way to get the stuff, and we have CITES documents for all of it. It's not like we're cutting new trees. So I think it's important to know that we're very, very careful about how we're doing it and where we're getting it, but we got it, and it would be a shame for it just to sit there, so we make instruments out of it. You know who coined the term Michigan maple? Me. You know what? There was no such thing as Michigan maple. The reason we coined it that is we were basically saying we got it from the same place that certain other companies got it. And Michigan maple, red maple, there's 2 kinds of salt. You've got silver maple and red maple. Those are the 2 soft maples. And you've got sugar maple, which is a hard maple. You're basically talking about red maple, right? Is that what you call Michigan maple? I mean, we did it so long ago in the brochure. It's interesting that these terms have actually been used. It just fascinates me. I was trying to say to everybody, we got it from the same. I actually got it from some of the same places. But it's red maple. That's what you're talking about, Michigan maple, right? We use big leaf maple, which sounds real good too. It depends. It depends on the tree. It depends on the piece of wood. How long's it ring? Let's get a couple over here, and start tapping on them. But I think red maple sounds remarkable. 60%. 60% success rate, 65%, 70%. It's sure isn't 100, it's sure isn't 0. So, I've got a few theories about it that seem to generally work. I think acoustic guitar makers have a very good, much better feel for it in general. But something, I'll bet you they have the same percentage. They've tapped everything, they've tried everything, and they put the guitar together, and some of them work. Look, you're marrying a whole bunch of things together that haven't been married before, no matter how good she sounds and she looks, and no matter how good he sounds and he looks, marriage might not work out. Reality TV's kind of proving that right now, isn't it? Can you believe they're doing that, William, on TV? I don't know about bird's eye. I have no idea how that is. But the theory that seemed to stick the best was a logger we knew said that there had been a study at a university up in the Northwest where they took the seeds of curly maple trees and planted them. And how many curly maple trees they got? 0, nada, not one. He said when you were in the woods and the daddy tree fell down, so now the canopy had a whole bunch more light, and you had a bunch of small trees struggling to grow. When they got all that extra light, they grew real fast. He said those trees go curly. So they would look for a mound in the forest of an old tree that had fallen, and around there they would find curly maple trees. That was his theory. Nobody really knows, as far as I know. I'm no expert on this. I can tell you that it does come from stress because you can see it in the stumps, even in any wood pile. There's always curl in the stump wood. But it's the best theory that we know about, and we know that replants you don't get it, and so it's not genetic. It's something that happens, and the best theory is it gets held down because there's not enough light, and all of a sudden it gets enough light and it grows really fast. So. We use quarter-sawn or wood that's half quarter-sawn for all of our necks. All the old fenders, the old Strats that are worth a fortune are all, slab sawn. I think it makes a difference in the strength of the neck. I still think that how long that piece of wood rings and what note it rings and how resonant it is has a tremendous impact. The people at PRS are very, very careful to make sure that we pretty much get all the wood quarter sawn. I don't think it's as important. I do know that it's important for strength, but that neck that's got any real meat to it's going to be okay anyway. I think how dry that wood is and how resonant it is very, very, very important. So I'd put more on the other one, but we're very careful to quarter saw stuff. Well, in the movie, when they were looking for the Holy Grail, what'd they say? The king, the French king, the guy comes out, he goes, "Oh, he has 2, and they're both very nice." Remember that whole... I mean, of course there's more than one kind of wood that has a remarkable sound quality.